Another story that we're tracking today, Chipotle is soon going to have a robot making its chips. We've talked about this before. This week, the company said Chippy, the robot, the tortilla-making robot, is going to arrive soon to its first ever Chipotle restaurant in Southern California. Brian Sozzi says that's great news. You know, Brian, I have to admit, I thought Chippy was already in place. We've talked so much about Chippy, but I guess it was only experimental, and now it's actually going to be in action, right?
Yes, we need a little positive news. That's why we're doing a follow-up story on Chippy, of course, also related to Flippy, which is the hamburger flipper that is stationed in some White Castle restaurants. Now, nonetheless, let's go run through this here. The Chippy backstory, fired up a couple bullet points on this one. Chipotle began testing Chippy at its California Innovation Center earlier this year. It is now going to actually go into an actual restaurant in Fountain Valley, California. Chippy is essentially, as we saw in the photos there, a long robotic arm that cooks tortilla chips and dumps them into a bin, and ultimately removing the need for an employee to be there doing this at a time of continued labor shortages in the restaurant sector. The robot was created by Miso Robotics, who we've talked to them before as well, and as I mentioned, they have created Flippy. I think what you're getting here is a real look into the future of fast food here, trying to remove certain tasks of the restaurant that people do not want to do. This was something I think brought to light when we talked to Chipotle CFO Jack Hartung just a couple months ago. Here's what he said.
And really with Chippy, not only can we make it fresh during the day in the morning, which is what we do today, we have the opportunity to make it, make them fresh throughout the day as well. So we're looking to enhance culinary and enhance the experience of our customers, make sure our food, tastes, if anything, as good, if not better.
I'm all for Chippy, guys. Chippy and Flippy. Get me that perfect burger. Get me that perfect tortilla chip. I'm all for. And ultimately, this might be good for stocks like a Chipotle, eventually like a McDonald's, because it is just going to drive a lot more efficiency. But here are a couple of reasons. As I mentioned, reduces labor costs in the restaurants. You invest one time in this particular robot, that's one less employee. And yes, look at this robot as an employee. That employee is not going to be taking off days from work unless the arm falls off because the bolts fall off, and that is unlikely. Next, it improves line speed. That is very, very important for Chipotle, or as they call it, line throughput. And lastly, improved food quality. Again, I am all for the perfect chip. Give it to me. I'm willing to pay more for the perfect tortilla chip. I'm going to leave there happy, feeling good about myself.
Weak water cooler chat with Chippy, though. I mean, yeah, no value there.
They become a person, I think.
Who fixes Chippy?
I can have a great conversation with Chippy and Flippy.
Yeah, okay.
I think. Who fixes it? Well, unclear. But Chipotle would be the ones fixing it. But the thing is, this is essentially like a factory worker, a factory machine. If you're a Ford, you operate robots right now. This is very much something similar, and maybe it won't wear out that much.
All right.
I'm just envisioning him having a conversation with robotic.
I'm actually having that conversation in my head right now with Flippy. Yes.
Sure that you are.
Best, Flippy.
We'll see if it boosts the guacamole attachment rate as well somehow.